What's up, guys? I've got a pretty exciting video for you today. Ultra Premier once again, no XLs once again. That team is Venusaur, Alolan Muck, and Gengar. Before I get into the team a little bit, huge shout out to my Patreon supporters. Could not be doing this without you guys, and let's get right into this video and start seeing how this goes. This team, a really special place in my heart. Poison has long been my favorite type. If you've been following my content, you probably already know this. Even just looking at my logo, it's a coughing, right? It's been my favorite type for a very long time. So finally, I've been able to run a team with solely poison Pokemon, and this isn't just to run 3 poison Pokemon, right? Poison is a very versatile type. A lot of the times it's the Pokemon, they're kind of dictated by their secondary type, right? So Venusaur, while grass poison, is mostly thought of as a grass type. Same with Gengar, for example. It's a ghost poison, but you think of it as a ghost type. And that's because the poison moves in Pokemon Go really suck. So because they do, these Pokemon are forced to use their other type moves, and it allows them to be actually very versatile. Poison only has 2 weaknesses, or a couple weaknesses, Psychic being one of them, and that's countered by the dark type of Alolan Muck. Gengar can also hit Psychics back pretty hard. And then there's that pesky ground type, which Venusaur is actually fantastic against, sporting that grass subtyping, and where grass is actually probably the most powerful type in the game in terms of moves. Frenzy Plant is just 2 monsters. It's going to beat all these ground types just through raw power. So together they actually form a pretty decent core. And they allow poison is a great defensive typing, not a great offensive typing, so it allows these Pokemon to kind of all play very well against fighting types, for example, which there are a ton of in Ultra League Premier, and very well against those pesky fairy types as well, which there's a ton of in Premier. So if you don't give those Pokemon any chance to come in, then it does make it very hard for teams who are running something like a Shadow Machamp or a Jellicent or something like that at all, or like a Surfetched. Makes it really hard for them to do anything in these games, and generally versus those teams, you'll actually have a huge advantage just from the matchup itself. So this team does play. You might be thinking, oh, an AAA team? How do you play an AAA team? No, it plays like an ABB team. Venusaur kind of covers the weaknesses that Alolan Muck and Gengar have, and Dark and Ghost have very similar offensive typing. So they kind of have similar matchups as well. Obviously not exactly the same, but it is what it is. So you just play it like a pseudo ABB team. So let's take a look at this game here. We have a Scrafty lead. Scrafty is a fighting type, which I said this team does very well against, but obviously we need to keep the dark types away from the back line. So Venusaur does need to be the one that handles this. So we're very lucky that we're seeing this where we are. No shield the first one, obviously. Power up punch bait is the only way you're probably going to lose this. So we're just going to land the Frenzy Plant. They're going to switch in a Talonflame, and we're going to switch right out, right? This is an ABB play here, because if they have like a ground type in the back, we're just going to lose the game. And they do have a Politoed in this case, which isn't a ground type, but does have a ground type moveset. So my Alolan Muck is going to have to do some work here before it goes down. Charge up very greedily. Go for the Dark Pulse. Try and CMP tie, which we get. And this way they can't just farm a little bit more. I'm not sure they have the health to anyways, but I'm going to think about which Pokemon to bring in to get some farm. What's better against this Talonflame? So we're going to bring in the Gengar. Get a little bit of a head start here. You'll notice my move timing. I'm throwing it exactly 7 punches. It's just so that they don't get any extra Incinerates through. An extra Incinerate through could spell just instant loss for this game. Now I'm throwing 2, so you want to throw 2 or 7 2-turn moves when they have Incinerate. And this really takes the wind out of Talonflame's wings, right? If you can just kind of avoid it getting extra Incinerates. And this is why I think it's very powerful at lower ELOs, is because people don't really time their charge moves at all. I'm going to switch to try and catch a move. Not really catch a move, but force Talonflame to spend its energy, and Gengar can come back in and just clean up. Yeah, the goal here, get those shields down, and hopefully farm up something for an energy advantage at some point in the game, and just clean up with that Gengar or that Venusaur. So Shadow Machamp, we'll see how this plays out. A lot of Shadow Machamp leads stay in versus Venusaur, and this is fine for me, and it's fine if they don't, because Gengar can also take care of them. Alolan Muck also isn't too bad. We're gonna see this. I usually shield. Rock Slide hurts, doesn't KO, but because it hurts and doesn't KO, they're not pressured to throw Cross Chop. So a lot of times they do throw Rock Slide. And as long as they don't bait you every time, as long as you call one of the baits, you can actually beat them as long as you get a fast move deny off their moves. And they come in with Gyarados. So Gyarados actually pretty decent against the back line. Venusaur does kind of want to be the one to take this out. And remember, as long as I do get switch here, it's fine because I have Gengar for the Machamp. So in this case, we can actually let Venusaur go down, and shields are down. So this is a pretty good scenario. We have Gengar to try and clean up this Machamp. It is a bit risky depending on what they have in the back. But if it's a G-Fisk, we might be in some trouble. But Gengar's able to get a huge farm, and this energy advantage is tough. So it is ground type in the back, which is actually very hard here. I don't have Shadow Ball, and I've really been thinking about using Shadow Ball a bunch. But I do beat that Swampert because I switched fast enough to their move. So the Dark Pulse, and this Swampert, we'll see if it even has Earthquake. If it doesn't have Earthquake, that is the win con. So it doesn't have Earthquake, which is pretty big. And Alolan Muck tank one Hydro Cannon, and Gengar's gonna be able to come back in and just clean that up. Yeah, we were in a little bit of a problem because we never switched that game, right? So the ground type stayed in the back, and usually the ground type is Swampert in this league until G-Fisk gets a little bit more popular. Ampharos lead, love to see it, and then Gallade. So this one's a bit tricky too. It is a Psychic type, but it's also a Fighting type, and Gallade does beat Gengar, I guess, technically, because it can just shield and farm down, and same with Venusaur. But the matchups aren't that bad. Gallade can't really take a Frenzy Plant. So in the one shield, I'm pretty sure Venusaur actually wins unless Gallade throws its energy, unless it's Shadow Gallade. And same with Gengar. In the one shield, it can win if you properly time your Shadow Punches. Because you just need to land one. And Alolan Muck's okay too. Close combat obviously really hurts. But I no shield the first close combat because I know that their defense will be so dropped. And I actually managed, if you were paying attention, I managed to take a 2 shield advantage and switch advantage. So this game is, I don't want to say it's over because I don't actually remember the outcome. I don't want to jinx it, but anytime you can get 2 shield advantage and switch, it's probably over at this point. We're going to shield up. Something's fishy, right? There's some reason they charge up to 5 against a Venusaur who resists Focus Blast. Well, we know what it is, and they're going to switch to try and catch a move there. And it's Venusaur, so we're going to come in with that. Gengar with a hard counter. I'm not going to shield this. Gengar can tank 1 Frenzy Plant, but the problem is you'll get Vine Whip down in these longer matchups. With shields down, you don't have to worry about that. So you can tank the Frenzy Plant and just take out that Venusaur. I probably could have gotten away with Shadow Punch, but I got burned earlier. But Shadow Punch didn't do quite enough damage. Just playing a little hesitant here, and we still have a shield remaining at the end of this one. Yeah, we haven't seen too many fairies yet, but this team is really, really good against fairies. So if you're, I know I've usually been going against this. I've been releasing a lot of teams that are kind of weak to fairies because I don't see a lot of Charmers normally where my ELO is at. And people have been complaining about that in the past. For example, the Vigoroth Mandibus Drifblim line, very weak to Charmers. But this line is very good against Charmers. So if you're in an ELO where you're seeing Charmers all the time in Premier, then give this team a try. Here we have another fairy type. This one's tough, because Alolan Ninetales can win going straight to Powder Snow here. Right, just a straight Weather Ball here. So I actually have to get a little bit creative. We're going to go for the nuke to try and take shield advantage or switch advantage, and we're going to take shield. The problem is we don't really have a good answer to the Ninetales. So we're going to go in the Muck, they're going to come with G-Fisk, and we're going to swap out. So this is good. We're able to create a scenario where Venusaur can hopefully get some farm with this shield. Venusaur versus G-Fisk is much more comfortable in Ultra League than it is in Great League because you have that extra health. You can tank an Earthquake. So they're actually going to bait me with a Rock Slide here, which is fine. And this isn't even a bait. They're just going for the Rock Slide, so I don't know why I'm shielding that. I just want to farm up a little bit and avoid getting Rock Slid once again. So yeah, we're going to hit them there. They're going to come back with the Jellicent, which is fine, right? This Jellicent has no play. They realize it can't come in on any of these Pokemon anymore. And I'm going to no-shield this, obviously. It's probably going to be a Bubble Beam even, which means I can bank my move. and switch out. Fortunately, I only banked a Frenzy Plant. Frenzy Plant should be enough for the Alolan Ninetales anyways. But it's dangerous if I do click on that Sludge Bomb side first, but my Alolan Muck's already at a Sludge Wave, so we're going to be able to take out this Alolan Ninetales, and this is a Mega XL team. That's a Jellicent and a G-Fisk, right? So XLs don't 100% stop this thing from rolling, that's for sure. It's very good against especially Jellicent, which is I think rank 1 on PvPoke. So as people get more and more Jellicents as well, this team is going to do better and better. The Snorlax lead, this is also kind of where you want to see it, because it's really hard to line it up with your A-Muck. But you absolutely don't want Snorlax against Gengar. You are running Sludge Bomb in this case because it is supposed to be a double poison backline, a lot of poison damage. But even then, you're just gonna get licked down, and the problem is neither Venusaur nor Alolan Muck can deal with the huge farm that Snorlax can get off this Body Slam. Just hurts so much. So regular Snorlax, Venusaur beats in the one shield. You shield once, they shield once, you win. Shadow Snorlax is a bit different. I think you technically lose the one shield and you get licked down, so it's very scary. But they're gonna play the 2 shield scenario, so something is definitely up with this. I'm gonna let this go down. This is a pretty decent farm now for my Alolan Muck, and they have shields down. So Alolan Muck with a farm is extremely scary here. Not much really resists Sludge Wave and Dark Pulse. It's really just Toxicroak, another poison type. But not a lot of people are running Toxicroak nowadays. It seems to have kind of been phased out a little bit with all the XL Pokemon. And this Kingdra comes in, and obviously with 2 charge moves ready to go, it can't really do much. I'm going to swap immediately into this Gengar, and look what's in the back. So this is going to happen a lot. A lot of times the last Pokemon you're going to see is going to be some Fairy type or some Jellicent in the back, or some Machamp that had no way to come in this game. And it's just going to be cornered in the back by this Gengar, and kind of just taken down. So Gallade lead, this isn't great, but we both swap at the same time. And they swap into, I'm not sure why they swap out the Venusaur lead. In my opinion, it's a very good lead for them. But I will take it. Alolan Muck versus Venusaur is very comfortable. Pace is about the same, and your moves just do more damage than Venusaur's do. So at this point, I've actually already removed my best Gallade counter, and they've gone 2 shields down. So I really have to play this. Like, this is not a good situation though, because I swapped and they swapped. So I do need to get an energy advantage on either Muck or Gengar here. Right, on Venusaur or Gengar here. And obviously with shields down, it looks like Gengar is the correct choice. So we're gonna have to probably blow some shields to get a great farm down on this Venusaur, because once Gengar has this farm down, well, Gallade can't really come in against it anymore, right? Because it can't really take those shadow punches. And immediately they swap out, realizing the disaster that's about to happen. But the problem is switching to Empoleon, and Empoleon not great against Venusaur, pretty good against Gengar without Shadow Ball. So it's very lucky that we're going to see this Empoleon here. We're going to be able to take it out 2 charge moves, right? And this Frenzy Plant should be able to take out, or get this Gallade low enough that at least Gengar can farm it down without taking too much damage. But we're just going to throw the second Frenzy Plant. At this point, they just have a Venusaur, and we're just going to switch into Gengar, speed this up. The safer play, obviously, is to stay with the Venusaur till they throw their energy, or force to throw their energy by you pressuring with your own Sludge Bomb, or obviously, and then coming with the Gengar and just Sludge Bombing and winning CMP. Next game versus Eternal, fellow Calgarian. Here we have a Alolan Ninetales lead. I had to test if it's Charm or Powder Snow, right? If it's Charm, you can stay in. But they don't switch out when the Alolan Muck comes in. And Alolan Muck is probably my best answer for this, so this is actually a pretty good scenario for me. Go with the Sludge Wave, they shield it. So we're going to take some shield advantage here, probably. Because it worked well in the last game, so let's see if that works again. Throw a second Sludge Wave, and it goes through and KOs, so a lot more damage than Sludge Bomb. I'm in a great position. I won switch with a shield advantage with Alolan Muck. The problem here is Mandibuzz is actually a fantastic counter to every Pokemon on this team, except for the Amok. So even with a shield advantage, there's no proper way for me to deal with this this Mandibuzz at all. It's gonna rip through everything. The reason I came with the Venusaur is because it already had a lot of energy. Gengar can't tank really even a single foul play. So I absorbed some of the energy with Venusaur, and I probably should have switched right away, but I really wanted to get to that next Sludge Bomb, because I need to take out this Mandibuzz for sure. And yeah, I probably should have switched a little bit faster. Get Gengar out there and get those higher damage Sludge Bombs rolling instead of Venusaur's kind of Uni Sludge Bomb going. Because yeah, those Sludge Bombs will deal way more, and at this point I've already put him into Shadow Claw range, or sorry, Shadow Punch range, so I don't even need to do that. And we're going to see what they have in the back, the Jellicent. So actually it was set up pretty well, besides the Mandibuzz, to deal with this team. The Mandibuzz, and that was the only one I saw, I think, but it was absolutely soul crushing for this team. So we have a Abomasnow here. We're gonna swap obviously into one of our poison types in the back, go into a Muck. You can actually swap Gengar here on this team. I haven't been doing it that much, but it's definitely fine with Sludge Bomb. But I haven't been taking advantage of that. So there's still room for this team to grow as well. And Dragonite comes. Dragonite is very tough too. Especially with shields up, Dragonite is very tough. So we're gonna have to come in with Gengar and just start shredding away with Shadow Claws. Obviously it's shredding back with Dragon Claws, and somehow it's outpacing me to the moves. They're counting very well on CMP tying, just so I don't get any Shadow Punches through. And because of the energy advantage it had, it also beats me to this next move too, and I'm forced to shield. Just so I can get this move off. Yeah, I didn't even see CMP tie there, so. And they actually let it through, so that was a little bit of a game saver until they brought out their Fire Flying Pokemon. Could not win this one. They still had that Abomasnow in the back too. So that was just a very, very hard counter team that I could not wiggle my way out of. Needed to get shields down earlier so that Dragonite wasn't so much of an issue. So Empoleon lead. They're going to switch right into Venusaur. I'm going to switch into Gengar. Bit of a tough choice. This matchup is a bit sketchy, because they shield the Sludge Bomb, you're in some trouble. If they call the Shadow Punch, you can go down 2 shields, which is not a good situation. I should have really went into the Alolan Muck. It is the much cleaner matchup. I think I was just like, oh, Alolan Muck is a better matchup against Empoleon. But I don't think that matters too much. It would have to deal with the Empoleon afterwards anyways. And Gengar is going to get to a couple Shadow Punches here. Leave this Empoleon really low. The Empoleon Venusaur core has been popping up more recently since last video. This one obviously is in the reverse order, but we don't have a Snorlax, I'm assuming, in the back. But yeah, I come in with the Alolan Muck, assuming they're going to throw a Drill Peck so I can save a shield. And you can see the the non-super effective Drill Pecks, they don't do any damage at all. So we're going to win this set as well. Not as strongly as the first one, but it's still a win. And keep playing some Legends. See how it goes. Shadow Machamp, like I said, there's not really a good place for Shadow Machamp. They actually switch out immediately, so this time I'm gonna go with the Alolan Muck this time. And Venusaur, I've learned my lesson. Also, with them showing Shadow Machamp at the front, I no longer really need switch advantage, because now Venusaur or Gengar are both really good versus Shadow Machamp. So they're gonna have, unless they have a Mandibuzz or something in the back, then they're gonna have some real issues as long as I just keep shield advantage here. Yeah, so I'm gonna throw Dark Pulse if they shield. I'm fine if they do. And they throw right away, so I can just let this go and get a huge farm down on Gengar. I will have to shield if I want to farm all the way down. Could have thrown a punch to prevent that, but I think it's better to carry the energy into the next matchup. And they actually swap into Machamp here. So I think they realize it's absolutely useless. They're trying to, I guess, save their Venusaur a little bit and prevent the full farm down. But I'm fine shielding up here, even if it's a cross chop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They wouldn't be able to get to another rock slide, so the bait doesn't really matter at all. And Gengar's at 100 energy, so we're not even going to get to see their final Pokemon there. It's just the Gengar show. Yeah, sometimes it just works like that. I feel like a lot of games in Ultra Premier, especially when you're playing Gengar, are one Gengar just takes over. I lose to a Gengar in one of these games, and it just rolls over my whole team too. So just have to be careful of how you set up your Pokemon. I definitely could have avoided it too. That's the worst part. So, Shadow Gyarados versus Venusaur. Pretty good matchup for Venusaur. You outpace, and they can't even take a single Frenzy Plant. Sure, they can force this in the 2 shield, but then they're spending 2 shields and I'm not. It doesn't look like they can. So I'll shield this up and go for that last Frenzy Plant. Gyarados is very annoying for the back line. And now we have shields down. So this was the goal, right? The whole time, to get shields down. And this is the game I'm talking about here. I should not have switched. Once I saw the Gengar, I should not have switched there. And that was game losing play number 1. So instead of talking about this team for this game, we're going to talk about how to avoid losses and how to analyze your own gameplay afterwards, because I feel like a lot of people could use that advice. So that was mistake number 1. Now Gengar comes back in. Obviously, if I get to a Dark Pulse, it's over, but I'm not going to, because if it has Shadow Ball or Sludge Bomb, it's going to do enough damage. So this point, it's dry of energy. The correct play is to come in with Gengar, do 5 Shadow Claws, and switch out to Venusaur with the move, just in case of CMP. But instead, I stay in, lose CMP. I thought it wouldn't one-shot my Gengar, and here we are. So if I switch out to the Venusaur and they don't throw, I'm going to lose CMP anyways, so I've lost the game. So it's no risk. If I switch out and it's successful, it's a big play and it wins me the game. So it's literally a no-risk, big reward play that I avoided doing for no reason. But that's what I should have done. Galvantula switching is a bit tough. In Ultra League, everything's quite a bit tankier. You can tank a lunge, no problem. And I'll do just that. And I should be looking for an opportunity to swap out. We actually CMP tie there. I want them to be energy dry when I do switch. So this is good. The Frenzy Plant. And switching to Gengar. I do switch into Gengar in this one. I'm going to shield up. Every Galv so far has thrown Discharge at Gengar, because I think they've been burned before by throwing Lunge. And guaranteeing that shield down. And obviously the Swampert's coming back in. I'm shields down now, so it is a bit risky for my Venusaur, especially at half health. So I need to deal as much damage to this Swampert as possible. I cannot believe it did not shield the first move. The Shadow Ball, that's absolutely lethal. But I forced them to throw right away, and we can come right back in with Venusaur. And they're coming in with Swampert. So really tough match here now. At least we're seeing the Scarm here. And it's funny, this is the Swampert Galvantula Skarmory line that you probably are all familiar with from Great League. So it's coming back in a big way. Ultra League really is just becoming Great League, except tankier now. Which with all these XLs, which is a little bit unfortunate. But it is what it is. And I'm here to show that these non-XL Pokemon, even if they're not as strong, they still have some play. And I needed to get to 2 moves there. Otherwise, I couldn't beat their Skarmory and their Swampert, and I could not play the margin quite well enough. I'm not sure if there was an opportunity that I missed or not. But we're going to lose that one. XLs are too strong. Yeah, it's definitely not impossible to win without XL Pokemon, but it is a huge advantage to have them as options for team building. It's very unfortunate. So, Gengar swap in here. This is what you love to see. I think they go up. If they Focus Blast me, they Focus Blast me. I'm not falling for this. I'm not going to shield for no reason here. And this is very clearly a Shadow Punch. So, keep farming up. Might as well go to 100 and take out this Gengar. The Shadow Punches do add up. I go for the Undercharge. We can get an extra Dark or Snarl off, because this extra energy might actually pay off. Versus the Swampert, especially if they get a little bit greedy, right? 2 Dark Pulses and some Snarls is enough to take them down. So yeah, we do actually force the shield there, and at this point they've actually committed to the full farm down, and we're gonna get another shield here. So no, we're not. Swampert is actually gonna be able to take down Venusaur, and the big brain play will be coming with the Gengar to hopefully take a Sludge Wave if they have it, and luckily they are running Sludge Wave. But if there was an Earthquake, this would be big trouble for Venusaur for sure. So in comes Charizard, and Charizard with 1 shield or Gengar with 2 shields. What do we think? A pretty easy situation. Charizard kind of, I don't know. It still has some play, but I think it's really outclassed in Ultra League now. I think people will continue to play it because it's a fan favorite, but I don't think it's very good. So Shadow Snorlax. This lead is a little bit harder than the regular Snorlax, right? It's angrier, hungrier, has that little bit of a kick to it. But yeah, so they're playing the 1 shield. They already know this matchup. They shielded the first one already. I'm gonna no shield the first one, and this is why it's a little bit risky. So in the 1 shield, they are able to probably lick all the way down. But they throw anyways. So CMB tie, this is great for me. I'm gonna take shield advantage and try and farm down with Muck. We made this play versus the last Snorlax too. And I got super powered by the last Snorlax, so it actually helped the farm down a little bit, right? Because we got to 100 energy anyways, a little bit over even. And this time they don't have shields fully down, but it is the same line. Here we have the Kingdra. This is the 6-4 Ninja line. One of the best lines in the game. Also requires no XLs, right? But this line matches up extremely well against it, right? We get that farm down, they switch into Kingdra, and we get another shield, so 2 shields down. And the Dark Pulse off. So we're going to go into Gengar to try and snipe that Kingdra before it can get a move off. And we're actually going to win this game with 2 shields up, I think. Unless they come in with a move. Wait, out? Ah, no. See, I could have won this game with 2 shields by farming more on Clefable, but if you win with 2 shields or if you win with 1 shield, it doesn't really matter. Besides the flex, I guess. But yeah, this was a completely dominant matchup. The Clefable in the back has absolutely nowhere to go. As long as you don't switch out of that Snorlax lead, it's completely fine. But yeah, that's this video. Very excited to finally debut something with 3 poison types. Excited to try some. In Great League, the poison Pokemon are kind of just a little bit too weak so far. It's really just Venusaur. But when they start releasing some better poison Pokemon, I am all for making some triple poison teams as well in Great League. But yeah, if you guys have made it this far, once again, my socials will be in the description. And yeah, thank you all for watching.